Brian Cooley with Roadshow Editor-in-Chief Tim Stevens. And joining us now, it's a real pleasure to have from Volvo, their North American CEO of Volvo Cars, Lex Kerssemakers. Did I get it right?
Absolutely.
That was
There
very
we go.
well done,
Okay, I feel
Brian.
good.
I'm impressed.
I feel good. All right. Lex, Volvo's in an interesting position right now with the new S90 really ascending for the first true time into the top level of premium cars. Tell people who are buying S-Class and A8s and 7 Series why to start by one of your dealerships.
I think what we're aiming for is actually one class lower. It's the A6 and it's the 5 Series and the Lexuses. And what we believe, we are on a journey in the United States. We have been out of sight, out of mind. We have launched the XC90 during last year. Is that if you want to be a true premium brand, a flagship sedan should be part of your portfolio. And now we have developed our new platforms. We have the tonality. We found the right tonality and crisp in our design. So now we believe that we have a true competitor for those, and a true alternative for those who think it's about time to switch.
And the XC90 was absolutely one of our favorite cars of the year. It's been a fantastic success from a design standpoint and from a technology standpoint. How do you build on that and then take that and port that down to a sedan, but maintain the character of both cars? Yeah,
it's of course with the XC90, and this morning we won the Truck of the Year in the United States, the Valhalla of trucks. So we're extremely proud about that. But it's a we use absolutely the same ingredients, and the challenge is, of course, to tune that down to a sizable sedan. And it's the same segment, though, but still you need to make a sedan out of it. And yeah, you can look at the auto show today. We think, but we're not totally biased, that we managed to do a good job. But the platform, the driving characteristic, the infotainment technology, it is all copied from the XC90.
So let me ask you this: Volvo's been making some great cars for some time now, the sort of modern era of Volvo. What has held you back from the gains in market share and really larger scale that you're seeking now? What have been the hurdles that have stood in your way?
Now you probably remember that we used to be part of Ford Motor Company. And when we were sold in 2010, we knew we had to start again. So what we have been doing, because the platforms and the engines we used from Ford, that would come to an end, which is logic when you discontinue. So we knew in 2010 that we needed 4 or 5 years to develop all the new technology. So we have been a little bit introvert over the past years. We had to focus on developing the cars we are going to roll out now. But with the launch of the XC90 and with all the development done, we thought it's now time again to, be in the minds of the customers again. We have been out of sight, out of mind. And 2015 was the time to do so, and that's what you see now as a result. So now nothing holds us back anymore to really come back in the United States.
And I think that's something that most consumers don't realize, is that it takes that long to develop a new car. 4 or 5 years is pretty average. So that's a pretty good example of how long it can take to reboot a brand. But that also means that 5 years ago, you had to be thinking about things like lane keep assist and infotainment systems that would work with your smartphone. How much of that was in the works back then 5 years ago, and how much of that has been added in as you've gone along?
Yeah, no, you have to think about it, because you can imagine with those development circles, you have to think well ahead. And when we develop a platform or a top hat, you need to secure that we embrace all those technologies. Same as with plug-in hybrids and batteries. You see in the XC90 there is no batteries in our TA, despite the fact there is a package of batteries. Because we could start with a total new platform, we could do it from the beginning, and that's why we have such a fantastic layout.
I see a lot of automakers, to be honest, still struggling with their relationship with Apple CarPlay and Google Android Auto. Either technical implementation issues, I hear there are some business terms issues in terms of who will inform who about future updates to stay in sync. And then there's the idea of who are we letting into our dash? And who are we offering relationship with our owners and buyers to? What's your philosophy on how you're going to move forward in this? It's very important to our audience in particular.
No, yeah, we take this a little bit more practical. Is that, okay, we have our embedded systems. We are like road information systems or music systems.
Yeah.
And we allow them into our system like you allow an app in onto your screen. We have this little bit of flat screen in the car. And we managed to incorporate them in a very, very natural way, but it's still very clear that this is the Volvo system and this is the system from the outsiders. And we leave it literally up to the customer what they prefer to do, because that's unavoidable. At the end, the customer will make up his or her mind. And we are a facilitator in this respect.
If you get usage statistics back that say, boy, they're basically just using CarPlay and Android Auto, is there a path where you might move to a car that offers virtually no Volvo infotainment, the way Hyundai's doing with one of their head units, and says, we're going to hand it over to the mobile industry and let them, bring your own to the car? Or is that giving up too much of the Volvo experience?
Yes, it does. That said, though, if you look in the current XC90, where you get the outside systems in, you get the good. We managed to do it in a way that it's linked to the Volvo human-machine interface. So it still has a Volvo identity, despite it comes from the outside. So I think we managed to make a sort of a compromise. But it could well be that the entire automotive industry in 5 years from now says, you know what, let us focus on the cars and let other people take that part of the business. At the moment, though, we still believe we have too much added value by putting it all as an embedded Volvo system, that we say, no, we have our own system, but we facilitate other things to come in.
Right. Let's talk about autonomy a bit. I was in Gothenburg about a year ago testing out the autonomous driving systems that are going to be piloted there next year in 2017. But now in the S90, we're seeing a lot of that sort of functionality coming to the highway already. Can you give me an idea of the differentiation between what's in the S90 and the sorts of autonomous functionality that you're testing in Sweden currently?
As you probably noticed, Volvo is really, really into autonomous drive. It's not, we don't believe in it so everybody can read the newspaper. We believe in it because we have a vision called Vision 2020. We don't want anybody killed or seriously injured in a Volvo by 2020. That's quite a thing. Now you have your passive safety, you have your active safety, but still, despite all this technology, we know that 80–90% of all the accidents is caused by human behavior. We need to get that out of the system. We can't allow getting all those people killed into the traffic. That's why we see autonomous drive as part of our journey to our vision. And it's a step-by-step approach. And in the XC90, we introduce pilot assist. Up to 30 miles, you follow the car ahead of you. You need to connect to another car. With the S90, we now introduce pilot assist as a standard, because we believe this is an integrated part of our journey to the Vision 2020. And that pilot assist goes already up to 80 miles an hour. So we just make step by step, we go from semi-autonomous drive to autonomous drive. But it's quite a journey to make. It's a journey from a technology perspective, but it's also a journey for the consumer. If we would launch a car now which is fully autonomous, I wonder if the society is ready for it. We have to take it step by step. So that's what we are following, and that's this pilot assist in the S90 is for us an extremely important step. And by that, we're also the first car manufacturer who makes it standard.
The technologies that allow driver assist and partial autonomy to happen they're largely chip-based and software, and it's relatively commodity compared to many systems 50, 60 years ago, where it was metallurgical engineering was an edge that was harder to copy by a competitor. How much of an edge and for how long can you get with self-driving innovations, or do they evaporate just that quickly every year?
Yeah, technology development goes very fast. And it's not only Volvo, of course. Everybody is talking about autonomous drive. So we operate in an environment where we know everybody is joining that track. We don't see it, though, and I'm coming back, and it sounds a little bit idealistic, but at the end, we believe we need to come to a better society where people just stay alive in cars. So at the end, it doesn't matter. And we see this as a sort of a marathon, not as a sprint. If somebody goes a little bit faster on this area, at the end, we have our vision. We have a vision that autonomous drive is part of a driving experience. We don't believe, though, that you should give up your driving pleasure. At the end, it's a button in the steering wheel which says, now I go autonomous. Because when I look on the internet, I see a lot of dialogues. I want to continue driving my car. I don't believe in it.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to have that discussion. It's totally obsolete.
And that's like you said before, that's trying to rush the consumer as well.
Exactly.
Too fast.
And I want to continue to drive, but if I'm driving into New York, into Los Angeles, when the speed is 30 or 40 miles per hour,
Yeah.
nobody gets any excitement out of that. So that is when you push the button and you say, I'm going semi-autonomous now.
If you are getting excitement out of that, then probably you are exactly the person who needs to put your car in autonomous mode, because you're probably
That's a road
driving-
rage scenario.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. In terms of the design language that we're seeing, I mean, the cars look absolutely fantastic. Can you walk me through where that heritage is? That part of the heritage of Volvo that's coming from? Where exactly did that language coming from, and what sort of things can we look forward for coming from that language?
It's very Scandinavian. Now we are the only Scandinavian brand, so we can fully explore on this Scandinavian design language, which is all about simplicity and only put there the things which are necessary. And you see that on the inside, but you also see it on the outside. And the design team, and we have rock stars as designers, because that's where it starts with, very creative, but they need to give them the environment and the framework from engineering to do so. Because we could develop a new platform, we could develop a platform which facilitates beautiful cars. Short overhangs, the right dimension, the right stance, and that is a fantastic starting point for design. Put a flavor of Scandinavian design over it, that combined with rock stars of designers, and that's what you get.
I always like to ask this of our industry guests. Tell us about the Volvo you're driving right now.
At the moment I'm driving a V60 Polestar, you know, our high performance part of the
nice.
brand.
We got a sporting driver amongst us.
And
Is there any
that's
hope of
because
an-
I'm a product guy, so that's what I'm driving.
Is there any hope of more Polestar edition cars in the future here in the U.S.?
Now, as you know, we now acquired all the rights to Polestar. It's an integrated part of the product portfolio, and without releasing too much, but absolutely we're going to bring more Polestar cars.
You didn't buy that to bury it,
Right.
clearly.
No, but it's also about the timing. At the end, we want to be an environmental brand. And as we have our business in order now with our basic 4-cylinder turbo engines and electrification, we offer highly efficient cars. And I think then you can have a part of the company which is rewarding and indulging a little bit with high performance cars. It doesn't bite. And believe me, in the future also the Polestar brand will reflect the Volvo philosophy of electrification and highly environmental friendly
sure.
cars.
I just want to paint my house in that Polestar blue.
That Polestar blue is the best
I think
blue.
it fits very well in front of the driveway.
I think so
Neighbors,
too.
yeah, neighbors love when you paint your house that color. Yeah, that goes for big. Lex, thank you so much for joining us.
It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.